Welcome to Coffee Bar Stories,
A small-town comedy and DTZ Entertainment presentation.
hosted by Dad and Son.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Coffee Bar Stories, and in this episode we're going to be interviewing my brother, Bubba. I'm going to hand it off to Dad, and he's going to explain everything.
Okay, we thought today we'd bring on, I guess in the family hierarchy, he'd be the oldest of my sons, and because I do have 3, so I'm going to have the son interview Bubba, and I'm going to let them two talk a little bit and give you a rundown about how it was, I guess, between the two growing up a little bit and stuff, and then I'll interject a few questions here and there. So, okay, son, you take it away and interview Bubba.
Alrighty, first of all, how are you doing today?
I am excellent.
That's good. I guess the first thing I want to ask is, what is your favorite memory from your childhood?
Favorite memory from my childhood? Well, it's probably gotta be when I decided to try riding a skateboard for my very first time.
Alrighty.
I was real little, so I don't remember what age I was, but I ran my friggin' thumb over on the skateboard. I'll never forget it because it's what ended up getting me into skateboarding in the first place.
So what, was it like the pain? Just being like, alright, let's do this.
No, it's how I felt afterwards, picking up the skateboard and then realizing it was a Tony Hawk skateboard, and I was like, no freaking way. This is Tony Hawk's skateboard
What were you
with my blood on it.
What were you doing? Using somebody else's board?
Yeah.
Alright. Where was it? Like at a skate park or something?
It was actually at a family party.
Oh, was it? What was it, like a friend?
It was our uncle.
The uncle's skateboard, okay. And I guess now my second question is, what is your favorite memory from your childhood that involves me?
Well, I got a bunch.
Do you?
Yes.
Alright, let's go with
That's kind of
top
odd.
3.
Got a
Top
bunch.
3. Well, one of them would have to be definitely when we went to the old lake to go fishing.
Okay, I remember that, yeah.
And we caught a bunch of fish, brought them home, had Mom cook them up, and they tasted absolutely horrible.
Is this when they peed on you, or was this a different time?
I don't quite remember.
Okay,
No,
because I remember a fish peeing on you and you couldn't stand it whatsoever.
No,
I couldn't touch the fish. I'll tell you that right now. I don't like the way they look.
no.
They're
I think
slimy, scaly. No, thank you.
we didn't even really know how to fish, so what we ended up doing was we just cut the line off and put new hooks on because we didn't want to take the hooks out of the fish.
That's one way to go through a lot of hooks.
Oh
boys.
yeah, a whole bunch of
Jeez.
reel and a whole bunch of hooks.
Yeah, well, you're lucky Pop wasn't there. I'd have got them all for you, and I would have gave you a bunch of gruff for it too. You know?
Oh, probably, definitely.
But third memory,
Second memory.
second?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, second memory, all the Nerf wars we had.
Oh, definitely.
I would have you on my team because you could hide.
I was small, very sneaky, I was able to stay quiet. I can hide anywhere. Now finding me was the problem.
Yes.
It's all over, man. It's all over. We're not playing anymore. Come on out.
Yeah. We had to hunt you down and you were like hiding in bushes. But third memory, when we used to ride our bikes everywhere. When we finally got to the age we were able to ride our bikes all over the town,
Oh yeah, definitely.
we would ride them everywhere.
I loved, and especially since we had the bike trail and it went through everywhere. You can just ride and through all the town and not have to worry about getting in anyone's way. And it was a really nice ride too.
Yeah.
That for you guys, that was a blessing. That bike trail really helped keep a lot of things. The only things you had to watch out for were the strollers of people going for walks, because you did see that quite a bit on the bike trail. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, for the most part, I'll say the bike trail people, at least when you guys were kids doing that, at least between you guys and the walkers, had the respect where one would go to one side or the other so they could pass, you know.
Yeah, usually the right side.
Yeah, because the bike trail was painted up kind of like a road, had a dotted line running down it,
Mhm.
Yeah.
dividing it off. In reality, you could ride down the center, nobody's around.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and now what's one of your favorite memories from recently? I'd say the last 6 or so years.
Probably when me and a bunch of my friends decided we wanted to go on our very first escapade by ourselves and delve a lot of money into it. I'm speaking, of course, about the convention.
Oh, okay. Your Comic-Con convention you went to?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
None of us were 21. And we got to the hotel, went to go check in, and they wouldn't let us.
Yeah, because you have to be 21 to register for a hotel, right?
That is false.
Is it false?
That is very false. They thought we were there to drink.
Oh.
Yeah, see, it is 18
Oh,
years
is
old.
it?
18 years old to get a hotel room and stuff. But some places now, certain motels in certain areas will have a 21 statute there, and they may have gotten that cleared through the city on that part. So, but for Chicago now, you could at 18.
Yeah.
Would have
Oh,
been-
okay.
They were legal. They were old enough to rent it.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't want us there because the guy thought we were there to drink.
Oh, no. And, I mean, were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't. How the hell were you supposed to get
I don't
all the
know.
alcohol?
Find somebody unknown.
Well, being up there, you guys don't got really the guts to try to hit a bar or
definitely not.
go into a liquor store. Because I'll tell you now, a lot of them, especially with your guys' luck, going into a liquor store in Chicago would have been more like them screwing with you heavily.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially if it would have been like a black person in there. Oh, they would have had so much fun with you guys.
Oh yeah. They loved
You
to.
know what I mean? They would have, first off, they would have messed with you on your ID. And then as you guys are trying to fumble around and get away without having the ID, then they would just go into full, I'm messing with your mode down here.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have some fun with these kids. For the most part in downtown, that's the way it would have went for you guys. At least you're smart enough to stay away from
Yeah.
that.
But
'Cause in the end, they would have sent you out the door without the alcohol.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless.
But what we ended up doing was driving all the way 2 hours back home.
Oh, no.
Had to sneak into one of our friends' not apartment. Could count it as one. He lived in the bottom part of the house.
Okay.
We had to sneak into his house without waking his mom
Oh, no.
because she definitely would have been very livid.
Oh, I bet.
And the tickets we got were for 3 days.
Okay.
So we went back the second day. Ended up finding a motel eventually.
All right.
And we just ended up not going to the convention on the third day.
Why not? It's just
It
the
was like-
hassle of getting there. And,
Yeah, it was expensive. Getting around in Chicago was expensive.
I mean, it already is. As busy as it is always, and during a convention,
Yeah, and
even more busier. I can see how just getting there and back, you don't want to drive.
And
'cause
then
driving through that sucks. So.
Being out of towners and not knowing like what streets you could actually cut down, it would keep you away from heavy traffic where you're gonna just sit and end up realizing by the time you get up to the front of the line, or so to speak,
Yeah.
you should be over on the right, not the left that you're on.
Yeah.
And they're not kind in big cities, but this person doesn't know where they're at. We'll let them get over.
No, it's
We
move,
understand that."
asshole. I'm late to work.
Yeah, they're just laughing, honking, and driving on by. You could turn that turn signal on all day long, and you ain't gonna get over.
Yeah, but we ended up just not because friend Josh was a nervous driver in the city.
Yeah.
Didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Being young, I can see that.
We ended up paying every toll road that we could manage to find. Sucked.
Oh, I bet.
But we ended up wasting a lot of money on 2 days of just experience.
I mean, hey, and as long as it's a good experience and as long as you had fun,
Yeah.
who says that it was a waste?
It was fun.
So, I mean, that's good. I mean, as
That's
long
some
as
cool
you enjoyed
people.
yourself. I'm going to throw it back to Dad and see if he has any questions for Bubba.
Yeah, I do. So, what up until now, basically, what has it been like living around me and being around me?
Very enjoyable.
Enjoyable, like doing things.
Yes, we
Or
have
just how crazy I am
both.
on things.
both.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
You always have a lot of good ideas. It's always a riot to talk with you.
yeah. Okay. Well, I try to see. For me, it's easier to mold for you as you guys, because you were the first one to get into your 20s
Yeah.
and everything like that, and that there made it so much easier on me to, for as you guys are climbing in. You know what I mean? Both of you guys, you know, how the way you're all spaced out. So you, as you got into your 20s, your mom still had, you know, your other two younger brothers
Yeah.
to deal with and stuff like that on their younger basis and stuff, because you know how mothering she is and stuff. So for me, you were easy.
Yeah.
You were coming in and you were just interested because I didn't treat you like a kid. I treat you like an adult.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, this is how life is, man. I'm just gonna throw it to you straight, and I ain't gonna give you the you can be whatever you want to be speech, you know, and stuff like that. You can do pretty much a lot of things that you really want to do, but live within reason of your abilities and how life is. You know, life's not fair. I mean, it just isn't. There's no two ways about it, and that's what I had to make sure you understood. You weren't gonna get a handout.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're not that type of family to say, you know, I'm going to buy you the cars and here's your, you know, your 21st birthday, we're renting out a whole bar for you and shit. No, it ain't happening like
Yeah,
that.
no.
Dad don't
Oh,
carry that kind of
definitely.
cash.
Definitely
But I'd have to say, for you, you were easy coming into yours and stuff. The taking you to college and stuff like that and things like that, you know, because in our talks on the way home, we had like, what, 15, 20-minute ride, if not longer. Shit, that gave us plenty of time to catch up on what you'd done there and get you broke down for your mom did $20,000 questions.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff. So is it like growing up, as me as your dad and everything, and was I ever like a routine type person you could, or was it like you never knew what was going to come out of me next?
Oh, it was always, I never knew it was going to come out.
Oh, definitely.
You were spontaneous.
Spontaneous all the way. You know, you can never. You're not to a routine. I mean, you probably have your routines. To us, it's disorganized chaos.
Yeah, well, like the wall I threw up and back. I mean,
Yeah.
that was purely because, for one, I can't afford to put a fence up that the city's going to okay.
Yeah.
And two, I don't want to try to put a fence across our back the way our backyard is. You know?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Like that. So I figured, you know, the back neighbors with the dogs, they keep outside 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year round.
Yeah.
The best thing for us when we're out there, I feel if I put up this fake wall that looked like a general store type style, and of course I took a little farther than I probably should, but it's freestanding, so I can't get in trouble. The city can't say nothing. It's actually movable. I can pull up the stakes that keep it from blowing over.
Yeah.
And stuff and move it around. So, you know, I got ways of getting around the city, so to speak.
That was something that I've always enjoyed about having you around, is if I ever wanted to learn how to make or build anything, handyman dad.
Oh, definitely. Handyman dad right there.
Oh,
Half of the stuff we own built by you.
that comes from your grandpa. You know, my dad, your grandpa, and your my uncle, my dad's brother, your great uncle. That comes from them because they did remodel. Well, the whole family did remodel themselves. When I was growing up, you didn't see construction people a lot going to homes here in the Midwest where we live at,
Yeah.
you mostly seen family members come over helping to tear down a wall in part of the house and help them remodel a room and stuff like that. A lot of it was help out by family members. And a lot of them are into trades too. So, I mean, you still had like a construction crew, but they just didn't bring a real crew and they just had family members too.
Yeah.
But with you guys building things, you know how I am about building stuff. I'm not conventional. I just build whatever. I don't look, to do things on the normal. So, that's why I could never start a business building thing, building fixtures or anything like that and doing replicas and everything. Most of my builds are unique and one of a kinds and stuff like that. I can take, like I have for your mother, and build, which on actually your YouTube page, Bubba's YouTube page, he's starting. We'll show some of the things I built for your mother that are replicas of stuff that you can buy out of that is in a magazine or a website she's seen. And when you look at the material for what they use, is like pressed particle board or MDF, that medium density fiber board with like a wooden veneer look on it. They're calling it hardwood, charging $80, $90, $100 or more for that stuff. And I can build the same thing for your mother out of hardwood, real hardwood, your walnuts, your oaks, but they're solid hardwood. Yeah. No manufactured board in there at all. And it's more beautiful for her, and she loves that better. I can duplicate things easily. That ain't a problem. But the original builds, like the half moon crib for your sister, for her son, for my grandson, your nephew, and stuff, and things like that. It's not hard to do if you have a jump off basis, somebody to show you how to use the proper tools.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. All right. So here's what we'll do now. We're gonna take a small break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna let Bubba tell me and son over there a story that we haven't heard before, and see how the outcome of this one gonna be. We'll let him tell the story, and then we'll do a little Q&A at the end of it, out of curiosity from me and son. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, and we are going to listen to Bubba tell some stories, and we're gonna do a whole Q&A after he's done with them. So whenever you feel ready, go for it, man.
So you want me to spin ye a yarn?
Yes, go for it.
All right. So this story is a way old story.
Okay.
It was maybe 13, 14, maybe 15. Somewhere in that area.
Alright.
And all throughout the high school, there was a story going around that some girl had gone and offed herself inside of this old abandoned building.
Okay.
And typical kids, we just wanted to, is it true? Is it true?
Yeah.
So a little group of us would be Don, his brother Jim, Jim's psycho friend, Fred, and me. I have never broken into a building, ever. And this place is abandoned. You get caught in there, you're getting hauled off.
Yeah.
Well, turns out there's a secret way of getting into there without getting caught.
Okay.
So we all, one day, after school, like right after school, ditched the bags at a friend's house, rode our bikes onto the bike trail that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, there's fences in these bike trails, and one of them was like peel it back, and it'll stay back.
Yeah.
Well, you have to go in there, and then you follow along the lake, and then you have to walk over a bridge, like a crudely made bridge of just logs and 2x4s.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you go back in there. There's a treehouse area, but you have to go back further than that. And it takes you into the back of this place.
Yeah, I know the area you're talking about. I've actually brought it up in our pot stories.
Well, you have to run along the fence and then one by one hold open this hunk of wood
Yeah.
and hold it open for the next person to get in.
Yeah, because it's like heavy as hell, basically.
Yeah, it was like pinned against the thing, and you get into this building. It was dark. It was horribly damp. Like, you can smell it. And apparently this girl had gone into the bottom of the room, or into the basement of this place.
Okay.
So we went spelunking a little to find the stairway that leads down. We finally find it. It was flooded.
Alrighty.
No way in hell was I going to stick my leg in the water full of dead girl.
Yeah, no thank you.
No, thank you. So I was like, yeah, you guys can go ahead. And they're like, yeah, nah.
We're not doing
So we
this.
all
We're not
ditched
doing
that
this,
plan
man.
and instead went full anarchy mode and just started being absolute dickheads in this place. So we went around the place throwing bricks and shit, graffiti.
Just vandalizing
Just
it, basically.
yeah, pretty much vandalizing the place. And we find this room. It's completely green,
Oh,
like
no.
glowing green. And I was freaked out. I did not want to go near the room.
Uh-huh.
Crazy ass Fred decided he wanted to go take a look in there, and he's like, "Yeah, I think it's nuclear."
I think it's nuclear.
And at that age, that's what else are we supposed to think? A glowing green room? I was like, yeah, probably radiation. Best stay away from that. Don't want to end up looking like some Chernobyl mutant or
Yeah, I
something.
don't want to end up with 26 toes walking out of there.
Most likely lead paint.
But we ditched that and we started going up into the higher levels of this place to find
Yeah.
out what it was. Now, all the way up until now, I haven't called it anything except for this place, but we were always calling it the asylum,
Okay.
Yeah.
and that's what we've always known it as an insane asylum.
Yep.
It was not a fucking insane asylum. I think it was just an office building. Or
Oh,
something.
just
To be honest,
shut down.
I actually know
like,
exactly what you're talking about. I've been in it myself, and it wasn't. I don't think it was an asylum either, but it was some type of hospital building. They did have hospital equipment all inside of it and everything, and there was a courtyard in the middle of this place. If you remember that.
Yeah,
I know where you're talking. What it was an old hospital. Is what
Okay,
it was at one
okay.
time, like a care unit. Basically, I don't think they did like high tech things there. I think it was an older hospital that did the basics and stuff. No real emergency room, so to speak, but you pull up and
Yeah.
that type of deal. So
But the way he was describing it so far in the story is exactly what you can picture it as looking at. Dank,
yeah.
dark, damp, smells like damp.
oh,
and
Yeah, you can
And-
smell it in the air.
And what he didn't describe, or at least what I would have from the beginning, is the how dark it is. Because the minute you walk into this place, it's like immediate pitch black.
Oh yeah, it's like a scary dark. You go in and you're like, I really don't want to be here. It's cold.
Extremely unnerving.
It gives you that off-putting, you shouldn't be here vibe.
Mhm.
Like almost like you're like the place is haunted, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, so you're going into this place. It's not been cared for, so
oh definitely.
I can only imagine, because I've been in like abandoned. Believe it or not, there's quite a few schools I knew about back in my era that were abandoned. Just a couple of them are what we call farm schools.
Yeah.
But there was a couple in our town that actually shut down for whatever reason. Not enough students, funding, whatever. Anyway, go ahead, Bubba.
We ended up going up and down this place, chucking rocks through windows and being absolute dickbags.
Yeah.
Then Crazy Fred decides, let's go to the roof.
Oh, that's never a good idea.
So we did. We went to the roof. It was hot. It was very hot.
Yeah, it's the roof, from what I remember it being, was just pure black on the top, right?
Yeah, it's like tar.
Oh yeah, that's your hot box there, buddies. Whoa.
And you guys went on like a hot summer day?
Oh, yeah.
Right after like school was just about to
Yep.
get out, basically.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this is eventually when we ended up getting ourselves caught, was when we went onto the roof, because Don, his brother, and Fred were all looking over the edge. I'm like, I'm not going near that. No way.
Yeah.
Afraid of heights. So Don starts, or not Don, Fred. Fred starts jumping around on the roof. I'm like, you probably shouldn't do that. As soon as I said that, man falls through the freaking roof.
Yep.
He goes through 2 floors
Oh.
and then lands in this area filled with duct work that was like ripped out, so it's got foam and whatnot. He's lucky for that, for landing in that area. Otherwise, it would have really hurt. And the room that he landed in was some weird, I don't know, it had a big hole in the middle, or a square with a chain going down it.
Okay, that sounds weird. I don't know what it would be. It sounds really medieval, to be honest.
Yeah, and he slid down. He ended up sliding down the chain because that's when we saw cops. Ah! And that was my panic mode. That was me getting into, all right, time to go. I ended up getting down them stairs so fast. I've never run so fast in my entire life. I swear. When I started running, you can see the outline of me starting to run. I was like
going
the Flash.
so incredibly fast.
Yeah, I was like, nah, not getting caught, and I did not. I did not
There you
get
go.
caught. We all got away.
And the asylum, it was what, like 5 stories high? About like 5 floors, 4 or 5 floors. Yeah, and I do remember also, when I was there. There are a few different times, but when I was there, one of the things I do remember is that there on the roofs they even had like little buildings that went even higher. But that's all I remember. What's your second story that you got for us?
Second story, hanging out with friends, being hoodlums.
Mm-hmm.
This has to do with a friend Michael, a friend Jim, and Michael's brother. We were walking around town. They're not actually from from the town.
Yeah.
But they live pretty close. So we were just walking around. I was showing them some of the spots that were like hot spots.
Hot hangout spots, basically.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you guys' run-tos.
we walked past the school.
Mm-hmm.
We walked past the high school, and that's when we met up with Jim. Randomly. He's just walking down, and he's by a light, and there was a tampon slapped on that light.
Oh, God.
That and a pad just slapped on there.
Oh.
Jim ended up picking it up and taking it with us, slapped it onto another light pole.
Oh, ew.
A bunch of dudes didn't like that very much and chased us down the alleys. We ended up having to run, cut like good 3-4 blocks, knocking down trash cans to get away from them.
Yeah.
Jim falls over, rips his arm up in the alley, and the alleys were all made of like pebbles.
Yeah, gravel and shit, basically.
Pebbles and gravel.
Yeah, them gravel alleys are a beast to land in.
Yeah, and he shredded himself all up. Ended up getting him to his house all right, but that's just a little short story.
Mm-hmm.
Over there taking things, are we?
Yeah.
Hey, well, not really. Well, taking nasty things from one spot and then desecrating another with it, I guess.
Yeah, it's
I
a
guess
little nasty there, man.
took a little offense to it. So
Surprised he wasn't caught red-handed, if you know what I mean.
Oh, man.
Too soon?
Oh, son. All right, Bubba. So throw us the third story. What you got for us?
All right. Let me do some digging here.
Why don't you tell me here?
Okay, here's a good one. Snowing.
All right.
Storm hit Chicago. Good, maybe 5 feet.
Okay.
5 feet of snow. It was.
Been on the lake like that, that's not uncommon.
Oh yeah, it was like one of the biggest blizzards we had. Froze the lake over, flash frozen and whatnot. Went to check that out for the day with Grandpa, and it was pretty cool. Later that day, I really wanted to hang out with my friend. I was bored beyond reason.
Alrighty.
So my friend Michael lived about 3 miles away. Tried to get anybody to take me there. Called Grandpa. No. Called one of Mama's friends. No. Asked another one of my friends who was able to drive at the time. No. So, here I am, negative 22 degree weather, walking 3 miles through 5 feet of freaking snow to see my best friend. And had to walk down that bike trail. And it's sort of like how you used to tell me how you went to school, Dad.
5 miles up one hill, 5 miles up the other hill.
And don't get me started about the winter.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. Trudging through 5 freaking feet. I mean,
Dad.
you take one step down to the knee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, that's nothing. One year, matter of fact, it was the year son was born. I'm walking to work down the alley, and the way I had to get into work should have told me the fact that I wasn't going to be working that day. But every step I took, and this is not an exaggeration whatsoever, because the area was so close to a big lake that the snow would come up to my thigh when I'd step back down to the high part of my thigh, almost to my midsection. That is not plowed or anything. That is what had fallen, because the plows hadn't hit none of that. An alley wouldn't have been plowed by that point. By the time I got down to the end of the alley and hit where the place I was working at was, the parking lot, the streets, nothing had been touched. The whole town was shut down.
Yeah.
We were sent home for the day and everything. I mean, the guy running the place, he was like, "Nah, nobody can even get in. You guys made it only purely because you walked, and you're only X amount blocks down, 2 blocks away." He goes, "And you guys barely made it." He goes, "There's no way," and you guys walked. So
to add on to that, I remember basically the blizzard you were talking about when it rolled in. I remember that because I was only a little guy when it happened, and they didn't shut school down for it or anything like that.
No, they never did.
No, they never shut school down, and it was always a 2-hour delay. But I remember being such a little guy, how short I was at the time, that it felt like it was 15 feet of snow colossal over you.
I believe it.
Literally me, with how short I was, swimming through it to get to point A to point B.
See that?
So just thinking about you trudging through the snow.
That was the one thing you guys that amazed me about your schooling was that they would delay it for 2 hours,
but
so
the
plows would go, but the plows did their jobs. Small town, obviously, but they hit it quick. And a lot of people especially ran out and shoveled their sidewalks, shoveled out to the street.
Yeah.
So you little guys always had an exit to the street somehow from the sidewalks, because of the easements.
Oh, definitely.
So that was nice. That was what amazed me, though, is that they refused to shut that school down. It would take something to shut down. But if you honestly think about it, though, you wouldn't be going to school. You'd have to do school in the summer and have like what you would consider summer vacation in the winter, because you would never be going to school for school days. You've heard schools anymore, they shut down for almost anything.
Yeah.
So you guys actually got real lucky. You didn't get delays in your education or anything like that. You guys actually got to go and learn, which as a kid, they didn't shut school down for us, but I was in a Catholic school. So the Catholic school nuns are like, you got God on your side. Come on in. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I'm like hour and a half into this trek to Michael's house, and one of the kindest members of the police force, good old Officer Cheney, he knew us because he knew our uncles.
Yeah.
So he kind of had a soft spot for me. Picked me up, was taking me, and then his car broke down because of the snow.
Of course it does.
So I just ended up carrying on the rest of the way. It took me like 3 hours. It was a 3-hour walk through the freaking blizzard to get to Michael's house.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Only for his dad to say, hey, I couldn't even stay the night.
Oh my god.
Oh, no way.
At that point, I mean, you're already there. He should have just sucked it up and like, all right, he's here. Might as well.
No, I ended up having to walk some of the way back, and then he had a change of heart and then drove me the rest of the way home. But
That sounded like a change of the heart. Sounds like the mom's like, you better go pick that boy up and take him home before he becomes an icicle.
That or somebody got lied to about being able to come over and stay the night. I mean, that's a little extreme there, if you ask me. Just to go running out like that.
You're like, oh, they can't possibly send you home after this, man. It's a blizzard out there. Yeah, no, they sent him home.
Oh yeah.
So I do got a question, like on your first story.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you guys on that adventure. Now, was it somewhere you've heard about before, or was it somewhere somebody else had taken you before? You know,
It's somewhere I had heard about. It was kind of like a high school drama story, kind of like a Stand By Me thing.
okay.
You
It was
to go
that
see
kind
a
of
dead
adventure.
body thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was like a
okay.
you guys want to go see a dead body kind of thing. So we
But-
thought we'd be able to find this girl.
So, like, this had happened a long time ago. The girl did this.
Yes.
To your point of going to go see her. So, I
Yes.
mean, like, it wasn't like months. It was years and years and years.
Oh,
and
yeah,
years.
years.
So you guys are expecting. I don't know if the story is she hung herself. I don't know how she did it. What was supposedly the way?
Supposedly she had slit her wrists.
Okay, so she's gonna be sitting in a corner of this place with her arms down to the sides, her hands up, with 2 wrist slits, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're expecting to see.
Yeah.
Years later, no decay or nothing. It's gonna
Nope,
be just
nothing.
just like in the movies, huh?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
right now I'm thinking you're only going to see a skeleton, if anything.
You can definitely tell age in movies reflected heavily into them going to see this one.
Yeah.
My thing about it is, though, how often did you go there, though?
I have only been there twice.
Only twice?
Only twice.
See,
Now, did it become like taboo to go there as far as
it
like
became
the
a hot
cops?
spot, it seemed.
Yeah, like
more like
the
it,
police
like,
or something started.
not as a hot spot for police, but more so as people hanging out there and like chilling and like usually getting high and stuff.
starting to be certain
Yeah,
groups that, hey, you don't belong here. Get
they
out.
basically made it a hot spot.
The
for
second
police.
time I ever went there was,
to smoke some weed.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of my first experiences. Well, more of my third or fourth experience, I guess, getting high was in the asylum right before they tore it down and shit.
Oh yeah, I went there to
'Cause-
get high, and it was very mind-boggling.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I was paranoid. I was like, we better get the fuck out of here.
I can agree with you on that because it's like the only time I ever felt when I was getting high there was the time of like paranoia, because I don't ever feel it when I'm getting stoned. But when I smoke there, because we smoked on the roof, and I'm already terrified of heights, so that shit don't work for me anyway. And the fact that we were in there getting high, and then
Yeah.
we're having to go down through there, and of course none of our flashlights will work, because obviously that's how that has to play out. Going through pitch black darkness, and none of us having a phone with a flashlight, all flip phones and stuff. So yeah, that like I can understand the whole getting unnerved in that place because it's dark as hell. You can't see shit. You better
Yeah.
hope you remember where all these corridors are for the stairways. And if you're not paying attention to where you step, you're falling through the floor. 'Cause
Oh, I
there's
could
just-
see
There's
that
already
easily.
holes in the floor to where the foundation is just given out,
Oh yeah.
and one wrong step in there, and you'll just go
disarray.
straight through.
Anything in disrepair is always gonna be like that. There's very, very few buildings that go abandoned or shut down, so to speak, where there's
Yeah.
no real employees there that they actually will have on a monthly basis, maybe, or every couple weeks, a maintenance crew swings by, checks on things, make sure pipes aren't leaking, and
Yeah.
this, that, and the others. I mean, but unless they plan on using it again in the future for something, or it's very odd to come across that.
Yeah, and another quip to add on about the whole asylum before we shut that down and ask some questions about the other stories is you mentioned that the basement was flooded. And the thing is, that was a new addition. Because the first time I went there, it was not flooded whatsoever. And I did end up going into the basement, and I did not want to be in the basement because the feeling in there was 10 times worse than just being like going through the pitch black, inky darkness.
Oh yeah, when I was there, it was flooded.
Because being down there in that basement, because I guess somebody had to have gone in there, vandalized it, and busted a main pipe down there. Because they had a bunch of the water pipes down there and shit. But there was rooms everywhere, like closets, maintenance halls, some padded rooms too, which was really, really weird to find down there. And everything was in a state of disrepair.
Had it been raining any time before you went there?
No. And
okay.
To get
now, was it raining any time before you got there?
Not that I know of.
No.
Okay, because I was gonna say now, it could be where it does hold water.
Yeah, and the
if
thing
it rains and stuff, but with him saying no rain and you saying no rain, then that would tell me that a pipe was busted somewhere. And it may have just been enough that was whatever
the pipe just busted on its own.
The system was holding because the water main that it may have been shut off at the main.
Yeah.
But what the system still had in the pipelines, they may not have drained them off, and you busted the lowest pipe down there. It's all going to eventually flood down into it, and you can get a basement of a building like that of variable size filled up a good 2 feet easy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And because the whole basement, it didn't end up being flooded till maybe like the third time I was there. Because then I was like, oh shit, because a lot of people are like, oh, let's go into the basement, and they're like, wait, we can't even get down there. Like, yeah, you had to try. But I have one question. Do you remember the entrance? Like, not to get into the place like the board and whatnot, but like the actual entrance of the building. Do you remember there being like just a hole in the wall, like a giant ass hole, or was that never there?
No.
No. Okay, then I'm thinking of maybe a different place, or maybe I'm just putting it there because I thought so. Because that could have also added into how it got flooded. Because how I remember walking in there was just the wall was gone, and you'd walk in through that section and then work your way into the inner workings of the building. Your second story though, you seem to know some just really weird people, man.
I do. I was kind of a social person.
Yeah.
And talked to a lot of people. Ended up knowing a lot of people.
The big social butterfly. And
a lot of different people's from. I ain't gonna say different walks, but like different personalities. Yeah, is what it's more like. Especially at that place was more. It was more
the eccentric type of people.
Yeah, you had a lot of people just really, I'm going to be myself type thing. Okay, man.
Yeah.
Do you, whatever
you
that
do you,
is.
Man. You keep your red period grabbing hands to yourself, I guess, though.
Yeah, so really, you kind of had to be where if the person was a little odd, or most like people would think they're odd, you still hung with them, because the more you got to know them, all of a sudden you realize some of them oddities under that top layer that you only see, the second layer, all of a sudden there's some cool shit with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And stuff. And then other people that may not have want to go to that person, all of a sudden you tell them, man, no, they're pretty cool. And then all of a sudden they go past that first layer and they're like, man, yeah.
Cool. And shit.
Yeah, and that's how you get that little odd group started. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now my second question about that is, how long did he carry the tampon pad thing?
All the way down the block of the high school to the main street.
Oh, so his hands were dirty with the crimes that he just committed.
Yes.
It had time to soak, is what you're telling me.
He thought it was the funniest shit he's ever seen.
Gloves? Were gloves used or just bare hand?
Bare hands.
Please tell me he at least... was there sanitizer and soap used afterwards, or did he
afterwards? Yeah.
Okay.
Or did he go get a ice cream cone and go to town on it?
He's like, yeah, it adds extra flavor. Got to get my daily dose of iron in,
Yeah,
Yeehaw!
Nothing wrong with that,
There's a lot wrong with that. Vampires and shit, got to keep it garlic.
Well, there's that good old saying, pigs play mud, why not play in blood?
Oh, no.
All right.
I guess I do have a question about the third story, and it more so pertains to just the snow days in general from where we used to live. How did you feel about the snow days and shit? Like, because we didn't normally get like a lot of snow. We would get maybe 3-4 feet would be our max if we did get a lot, and then we got that blizzard, which gave us 5, maybe 5.5. But did you enjoy the snow
Well,
days that we got?
Seeing how as I'm turning into a crotchety old man now, I hate winter.
Oh yeah,
I
do
hate
too.
the cold.
Me too. I can't
But
stand being cold.
Then, oh my God, when it snowed, I was looking forward to it because you know what that meant? Giant snowball.
Giant snowballs and anything else you can build.
Snowball fights and
Yeah.
all the good stuff.
Snowball
that goes with
forts.
that
Snowball
winter there.
forts. I always wanted to build like a snow fort. I don't think I ever had the chance to like build a nice giant freeform standing snow fort. I don't think I ever put the time to doing it.
No,
But
I
it's
just made tunnels.
Yeah, that's all we ever did was make tunnels on our snow
Only
days.
the only time we actually went extravagant with it was in the backyard where it was safe and nobody could mess with it, jump on top of it or nothing like that. We built and you know how the backyard, how big it was.
Yeah.
We built a whole tunnel mechanism with pop-ups and structures, I guess, to
Yeah.
them too. Iglooed a couple areas, and you had to crawl through this whole maze of things.
No, yeah.
Because we just started bringing in snow. Me and your Uncle Kenny and your other uncle. We
Yeah.
started just bringing in snow from everywhere. We got the neighbor's backyard. We threw the snow over to, obviously they didn't care or anything. We just, we probably quadrupled the amount of snow that had fallen.
Mm-hmm.
We quadrupled it with what we brought back there, built all these things back there, and you guys would run through them and stuff because your youngest brother hadn't been born yet. I don't even think your mom was. Yeah, your mom was pregnant with. No, he was born. I'm sorry. He was born, but he was too little to come out yet.
Uh-huh.
Because you two were old enough to come out all bundled up.
Yeah.
The little guys still, but yeah, we took you through the tunnels and like your uncle and Kenny and then your other uncle, we'd spaced out amongst that thing. So when you guys would come running through, there'd be somebody near something so we could keep an eye on in case something did fall. Because we had ways of jumping up out of there to get you out. We weren't, we didn't do it haphazardly. We did it the right way because your mother and grandmother were not going to allow us to just haphazard it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and they're, and we weren't drinking, case of beer or nothing to do it. So, all right, guys. With that one, we'll wrap up number 2 here, part 2, and we'll take this short break, and we'll be back with part 3.
Alrighty, and we're back, and in this part, we're going to have Bubba interview us. So I'm going to let you take this over now. You have any questions for us?
All right, so first question for you, bro.
Alright, what's up?
What goes on in your head when you're up on your computer and coding and whatnot? You come to me and you explain stuff to me, and I'm sitting there like a dumbfounded dog. But what goes on in your head? What's your typical thinking process when you're running through this stuff?
Okay. So, you've seen that one episode of SpongeBob where he's told to forget everything but fine dining and breathing?
Yeah.
And they're all running around just destroying shit?
Uh-huh.
That's my brain 24/7 when I'm programming. Everything is jumbled. I am constantly working on 7 different things at once. I'm trying to make sure they all work together, and I'm trying to make sure everything works with everything. And I can't I don't know how to explain it. I can't ever organize how my thoughts work. I have side projects filed upon side projects filed upon side projects. I've gone to you about so many different things, and everything has probably been from a different project, hasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, and it's because I can't just sit and work on a single project. I have to move forward and work on different ones, and a lot of them are basically variations of the same thing. Since I'm making a game engine, I'm technically making 3 different ones, but trying to make them all work as one. And one of them right now is on permanent little leave, because I'm working on a 2D game engine now, and that's probably going to be put on personal hold once I work on the 3D one. But once I start getting more things put together in my head, I try to write them down. I try to get all that stuff working together, and I try to get a nice outline of things, and that's the best way for me to organize the thoughts when it's going on in my head. I have to outline them out, put them in like giant lists, and then even that I have to go in and start sublisting stuff inside the list. It's a list upon a list upon a list upon a list upon a list. It just keeps going inside my head.
All right.
There's just so much to it.
All right. Next question for you, Dad.
All right.
Now, this one might seem a little hard, but you're a very creative man. All my life, you've worked on projects, sort of like Zach, but more in the physical realm. What is your muse? How do you keep going?
Oh, how ideas come into my head?
Yeah.
It can come from anything, really. There's no limit. I'm like your brother over there, like, and in a way, I have means that my mind don't work like a lot of other people's. I have certain learning disabilities I had to learn to work with, and then others that I've discovered as my life's gone on. It's dampened in one way, but has kind of helped create that. Now, as I've gotten older, I also learned to help use it to my advantage in things too. So a lot of it, I can look at things and come up with an idea to build things, or just be sitting around and think about something, or run something through my head, and all of a sudden, just like for the wall for your mother, that was just, I was like, how can I do something without getting in trouble? And I can't afford, I got scrap wood, the way I have all that extra wood all the time. I have all this scrap wood, what can I do? So I figured if I make it look like a fake wall, but like a garden wall, because I've seen garden walls and stuff, so I was like, figured make it look like a garden wall. The city can come by and I'll just tell them it's one of those decorative garden walls. Yeah. And stuff. And the idea came just by, like, that was necessity. Others come by, besides necessity, others just come out of something I think would be cool I want to try to build. Somebody say something, and then all of a sudden I'll mess with the idea of it for a while. Next thing you know, hey, here it is, I got something to build, and I'm off running rampant and building something,
Yeah.
Because I've always loved to build. Here's a little story for you. Oh, how kind your grandfather is. He's the most patient man you'll ever meet in your life, mild-mannered, the whole 9 yards. When I was a little guy, not a little guy, I was probably 10 or so, I kept all day long, he's doing some remodeling to a kitchen. All day long, I'm taking nails, hammer, screwdriver, tools, all day long. And he's coming out, retrieving what he needs and, stuff. And he hasn't yelled at me or anything like that. Well, it gets evening time, and it's time for me to come inside, because I've been outside playing. I come in, and he had one sheet left of this paneling he was putting up. And there was no more at the store that he got them from. They were sold out. There was no more. And whatever possessed me, I take off running across the room and stuff. And I remember, for some odd reason, the Wizard of Oz was playing on the TV, because I think that's what they thought would keep us out of his hair. I took off running across the living room and jumped in the air and to the center of this the board, leaning up against the wall, so it was at like a 45. I come and popped it in half, and I tore a hole in it too, because it was paneling.
Yeah.
Just wrecked it, and it was unusable for him, because he needed full sheet, I guess, or most of a full sheet, I would say.
Yeah.
And he picked me up by my britches and the back of my shirt, opened up the sliding glass door to the backyard, and threw me on out there. Because you know, I love to build so much all day long. I was aggravating him by taking his tools, but he was staying cool to me. He didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
But when I went and did that, Mom said that was the last thing. She goes, your grandmother's like, I don't know what possessed you to jump through that, but that was the last straw for your dad. He threw you right out on your outdoor with your britches.
Yeah.
All right, and brain fart. Here's a question for Zach. Here's a question for bro.
All right.
What is one of your favorite memories with me?
There's actually quite a few. I think one of my favorite ones is when we used to go to the bike trail all the time with groups of friends, and we'd hang out and go and explore in the trails when they still had them up, because we just go through all of them. We'd always have different clubhouses and whatnot.
Oh
And
yeah,
especially when we used to play manhunt all in throughout there with everybody. You would always pick me for your team, like you said, because I was sneaky and hidden. And all I remember is the go-to place: go to the bike trail, because best cover, the best place to ambush.
Yeah, it was those clubhouses. We built a few, and one of them I actually stole from you, Dad.
Oh yeah, the ones that me and Uncle Kenny set up for you guys
Yeah.
when you were youngers. Yeah, none of those clubhouses that were there and stuff were built for me and him. We did them for you guys.
Yeah.
We like there'd be times that we'd be out there without you guys, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
But when you guys were little, and we'd start throwing something together, we'd be out there, you know, smoking a joint off the bike trail, drinking some beer, hanging out, hiding out, whatever. Because we like to get away from everybody and everything, where you couldn't find us and just have me and him time to chill out the way our lifestyles were at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those clubhouses and stuff along there, they were pretty cool and they were easy to build. Shit,
Yeah.
We and like you guys did, we found the wood just like you did. It's amazing how wood just pops up in the middle of them woods like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know.
Especially the random full sheets of like wood you'd find, and the stuff that looks like it'd come out of like somebody building something from like a house or like setting up a house. You just find random bits and bobs.
The only thing, well, with the way the wind blows around up that area, the only thing I can think of on some of that wood we did see was that, like you said, a construction site or something, somewhere that had a bunk of material sitting there they didn't cover, or they did and it stayed down, and next thing you know, big wind blows, a sheet of material can carry quite a distance, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Especially the wind up there, they can get up to 50, 60, 70 miles an hour easily, just on gusting alone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and just throw that over there, and then it hits the trees and lands down there where it finally gets tangled up and gets caught.
Yeah.
Shit, that's one way of it, but you ain't getting all the wood we found through there like that.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
definitely not.
That's not at the occasions you see some of it and stuff.
So I think we'll end it there, and this has been Son,
This is Dad.
and
This is Bubba.
thank you for listening to the Coffee Bar Stories.
Thanks for listening to Dad.
And Son on the Coffee Bar Stories.
Please join us each week for new stories.
All music in today's episode was brought to you by Kevin MacLeod.